Hi, welcome to Jette TV. I'm Juliette Ferguson with Sotheby's International Realty, and I have Jerry Enders here today with Independent Real Estate Research. He is an appraiser, and a lot of you might not know what an appraiser does. So why don't we start with telling what is an appraisal?
Well, what an appraiser really does is he renders an opinion of value, and that is just what it is. It's an opinion of value.
Of a home or business?
It doesn't matter. Real estate. So the business end of it, we separate. If there's a business portion of the real estate, we separate that.
Okay.
But in our office, we appraise real estate and real estate only. So that means commercial buildings, large apartments, small apartments, single-family residences.
Okay.
We have, there's 7 of us, and we have different appraisers for different type properties. We have Alan Best, for instance, he's a partner.
Okay.
He does strictly commercial work.
That's why I haven't run across his name. Okay.
And we do form appraisals, which is the bulk of our business. And we also do narratives. And typically a narrative is required when you do a commercial building.
Okay.
And residential, the format is just that form, and it's a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, typically.
Okay.
We have other forms we use, which are GP forms, general forms. And
Okay.
that's for non-lending purposes.
Okay.
Most of our appraisals are for just that, lending.
So it's really the lender that's hiring you, but now they don't know they're hiring you. They have a confidential rotating list to protect from anything.
Well, that's right. What the way it works is that if you apply for a loan, let's say if you're at a bank or even if you're a mortgage company, what they do is they employ appraisal management companies, AMCs.
Okay.
And what they are is they're the third person between the actual lender and the appraiser. And that's to keep objectivity.
Right.
And,
It didn't used to be that way.
No, not at all.
Right.
But now what you'll see with your appraisal fees, if you're looking at a closing statement, you'll see that the appraisal fees are higher than they were before you use appraisal management fees. And the reason for that is that everybody wants paid through the transaction. And so the appraisal management fee has their fee.
Another layer.
Exactly. So in the appraisal management, what they do is they hire us and we negotiate for fees.
Okay.
And most fees are based on time. In other words, if it takes you a 4-hour time period to do an appraisal or a 10-hour, the fees are different. You quote it by time.
So, but you have to quote it in advance, right?
Exactly.
So is it by, like, if you're doing a 1,000 square foot house in Seaside versus a 2,000 square foot house in Pacific Grove, you know maybe how much time approximately that will take?
Well, that's exactly right. What we do is when we get the phone call, or we get most of our business off the internet, it comes to us through the AMCs. What they'll do is they'll have you bid appraisals.
Okay.
So if they ask you to do property on Seaside on Napa Street, what you do is you do a little preliminary research.
That's my listing.
Yeah. We just appraised it.
I know, and I don't know that you knew it was my listing when you appraised it today,
No.
but I'll wait to hear separately on that one.
But you bid it on time, so I do a little research. I look at the size of the house, the location. In other words, if you have a house that's on a busy street versus a house on a quiet street, takes a little more time to research the data to support the value of a property on a busy street.
Why is that?
Well, it's if you think about it, if you ran all the sales, for instance, in Seaside, you'd be looking for, say, 1,100 square foot house in a specific neighborhood. Right. There's going to be plenty of those. Right. And then you think, now you bring it to the problem, which is the busy street, and you have to search for a comparable sale along a busy street. Well, that narrows your
So you've got like
parameters.
Hillby and Military, you call busier.
So it's a little more difficult, so the fees are different.
Right.
Because you can't just select 5 or 6 different sales that are on quiet streets. You need 2 or 3 that may be on busy streets. So that's where the time comes in. That's where the research is, and that's really what the appraisers are paid for.
I know you interviewed mine, I don't know if you knew it was mine, but on the very top of the hill, San Pablo and Darn it. You came back and asked, the bank came back and asked, they expressed a concern about the like telephone wiry things.
Well, that's exactly right.
I wasn't involved. I just kind of saw what was going on, and then you found that it wasn't really a big difference in value. There was one that sold at a similar value on Mescal or something with the telephone wires.
So what you're doing, if you have a house on a busy street, or you have a house that backs to, let's say, high tension electrical wires, like we're talking about, what that is, that's a form of depreciation. It's external depreciation. It's something that affects the value of the property off-site.
Okay.
And what the lenders and what is typical appraisal practice is that you have to bracket the elements of comparison.
Okay.
So if you have something on a busy street, that means that you can't have all your comparables on quiet streets. You also have to have something on a busy street.
Right.
So if you have a 1,100 square foot house, you have to have something that's bigger than 1,100 square feet, and you have to have something smaller than 1,100 square feet. That's the bracketing. And you have to do this with all the elements of comparison when you're looking at a house.
You pretty much have to stay in the same zip code, even if something is over the edge and more similar, or like Seaside.